We are thankful and grateful unto you for all of your many blessings bestowed upon the citizens of Dillon. Dear Lord God, we ask that you continuously bless our Mayor Pro-Tem, City Council, our City Manager, our City Attorney, and the department heads on tonight, that we make decisions for the betterment of all the citizens of Dillon. And in everything we do, we be careful to give your name the glory, your name the honor, and your name the praise. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Can we get, all right, on the approval of the minutes, we need to add
The approval of agenda.
approval of agenda, yeah, we'll do approval of minutes. Approval of the agenda, add one in ordinance 19-01, that should be 19-02. And then we need to add ordinance 19-03, sanitation rates, and 19-04 for water and sewer rates.
That's under new business.
Correct. So if I could get a motion with those changes. Second.
Second.
All those in favor? All right, I'll get approval of the minutes for our regular meeting on May 30th.
Second.
All those in favor? All right. This being my first report, I'll try to be brief and try not to be too verbose. And I thank Glenn for giving me some things to talk about. I've been out of town, but I have had an opportunity to talk regularly with Glenn, and we're going to try to set up some meetings where we go to the different departments, and Glenn and I and the department head, whoever they want to be there, to just to kind of get some short-term and long-term goals, and also look at what they need to achieve those goals. We've got a few challenges in our budget, and we'll discuss those later. I don't want to go into that here, but there are a lot of things that we need to be doing to prepare for upcoming sewage treatment projects and downtown development. We're hosting a Dixie Youth baseball tournament the 5th through the 10th, and there'll be 24 teams, 400 players, and 2,000 visitors. And unfortunately, I can almost tell you that you know, a large portion of them probably won't be in Dillon. And I talked to Glenn about this, and I don't know what we can do to encourage someone to build a hotel. Many of the businesses, large businesses, won't allow their employees to stay in motels where you can drive in, and it really does. We lose a lot of business because we don't have access to a hotel. These people stay here, then they'll eat here and maybe shop here. We got another, the city's hosting a Dixie softball tournament the 24th to the 28th, estimated 300 visitors for that. The second Monday of the month, the farmers market will be held on the South Plaza from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. and that'll go through October. We start with music on the South Plaza Friday the 14th, July the 5th, August the 9th, from 6:30 to 9:30. Our goal here is to bring people downtown, and we've done a number of things that we do downtown all through the year. St. Patty's Day, there's a 5K run that we do. Celebrate Maine, the cornhole tournament, which wasn't but a few weeks ago, the concerts that I just mentioned, and then the farmers market. Trunk and treat, and tree lighting. We've got 10 of 12 months. We have something downtown to bring people down there. I'd also talked to Glenn about, July, July 4th, the month of July, but July 4th week is a big week for people driving through Dillon and just trying to make things look as neat as they can. Edging, mulching the beds, just some things that people go by and say, this town's pretty clean, pretty neat. Also want to mention we have the new digital sign. We need to think about the possibility of renting, be able to rent the sign and post ads for a day for a fee. But other than that, I'll reserve my comments when we go over the water and sewer analysis, rate analysis that we received in our packets. Glenn?
Thank you, sir. First, if we'll move around just a little bit, Chief Lane's here, and each time we have new police officers, we try to bring them in to introduce them to council, so I'll turn it over to Chief Lane at this time.
It is my pleasure to introduce these two officers. Both of them have recently completed the police academy. It takes a real commitment to go to Columbia, spend 12 weeks away from your family, and complete the training. Both of them we're very proud of. Here I have Xavier Williams and Corey McLaurin. Both of these are Dillon folks. They're from here, and we're glad to have them on our police force.
Chief, could you, just in summary, talk about the police academy, and there's some new things happening at the police academy, and how we're going to do things with the state changing the process. Can you kind of give council an overview of what those changes are going to be?
The police academy has had some real obstacles with they are graduating, the number of students, police officers, they are graduating through the police academy. We are losing more police officers every year. So they have gotten where
You're not keeping up with the attrition.
we just cannot get, it takes about a year to get a police officer into the police academy. And it's just, everybody complains, and so the academy puts it on the agencies. So now, we will do 4 weeks of training here. If we send someone to the police academy, they'll do 4 weeks here. It'll be on a internet-based program. They'll watch videos. They'll have to complete tests at the end of each session, and they'll go to the police academy and take a cumulative test. If they pass that cumulative test, then they'll put them into the police academy, and that training will be 8 weeks then. They think that will help with the flow and help the agencies go through. I was not in favor of this change. I think the police academy needs to actually be a little bit longer. These officers, they have some real big obstacles, and the more training they can get, the better off they'll be. But they didn't take my recommendation. I think the larger agencies got more votes than the smaller ones did, and that's how they decided to proceed.
And when does that take effect, David?
That is in effect now.
It is. How many officers would you say you lose on a yearly basis?
This year we will lose, I suspect, 2. Well, I know we're going to lose 2 officers this year. So I would say that's probably maybe above average. We'll lose 1 to 2 every year. I don't know. Maybe that's not. What do you think, Glenn?
Maybe 1 a year on an average. We just lost one who's actually moved to New Hampshire, Connecticut? Maine, okay, Maine.
And you lost another one too, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. And then we have one that we just found out last week who is being deployed, am I correct? And how long is he gonna be gone?
12 months.
12 months? So, but I would say, on an average, we probably lose one a year, whereas other agencies around us are having a hard time filling vacancies. We haven't had that hard of a time here in the last 2 years. We've done a lot better, and our selection process has also been a lot better than what we got. I can remember a time we just hired people off the street, sent them to the academy and say good luck, and then they come back and didn't stay but a week or two. Now there is a process that we do here before we send them, just to make sure they're prepared. If they can't be prepared with us here, we know they're not going to be prepared when they go to the academy, so then they're just wasting time and taking a spot. That's what's happening there. In your packet, I described to you some issues that we were facing in public works, which is the street department, sanitation, refuse collection. I put some pictures of different locations throughout town of different things that we see. And we really doesn't have in our ordinance, we really don't have anything within bite. And the first thing I'm going to talk about are bed mattresses, box springs, couches, recliners, things of that nature. In the past, we have picked them up as needed, and basically one guy has picked them up on a flatbed truck by hand. He could pick up a car. But at the same time, that's not a good thing for us, because he could get injured. Two, every time you read something in the news, on Facebook or wherever, you're always hearing about bed bugs. And now we're picking up discarded mattresses. Chances are there's bed bugs. So if he's picking them up by hand, what's he doing with them? He's taking them home, or they've been passed on to somebody else. I don't know the answer or how to handle mattresses. I don't know how the answer to handling furniture. But I'm going to let Bert, if you don't mind, speak on it a little bit. I think he may have some ideas just to throw at you. We'll have a little bit of discussion, if you don't mind, about that, and then maybe bring something back to the next meeting and come up with something. So Bert, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. Like Glenn said, it's a job we're doing by hand, and it seems to be, after 15 to 20 years of doing this, the problem seems to be getting worse. I mean, homeowners, I don't know what it is, but you go by a residence and they got their whole house out by the road. I don't know if they're renting or the renter who owns the property is putting them out and putting all the stuff by the road. And I'm asking one guy to go around and do this daily. I mean, he's picking up dressers, TVs, mattresses, and all by himself and loading it on the truck. And the rate we're going, you never can catch up, for one thing. He's steady riding around looking for it, and he's doing it by himself. I mean, it's hard to ask somebody to do this day in and day out, lifting this kind of stuff by themselves. And all I'm asking is, to put our heads together to come up with a way of enforcing, well, really, like Glenn said, our ordinance is not strong enough, where we can really enforce, go to the citizens and say, this is what you can do and what you cannot do. We need to come up with something that's more specific on what you can put out, maybe what day you can put it out. Do we need to, call the Public Works Department and schedule an appointment and come get this stuff? And I think, something needs to be done where our town will look better and look cleaner like you want, instead of that stuff sitting outside the road 2-3 days a week or however long. I just think it's a problem that needs to be addressed now. And, if we can all put our heads together and think about what we can do, to make the citizens more aware of it, and that way we can be more efficient at what we do.
They have these, construction bags that you see advertised on TV that, where you put all your stuff in and then one time they come and pick it up.
Right.
What if we said, yeah, we're gonna take your refrigerator, but you've got to purchase one of these bags, $25 or whatever, I mean, they shouldn't be out there every week.
I agree.
And that way, those bags are strong enough, you can come by with a knuckle boom loader and.
Well, see, that's another problem. See, what a lot of people don't understand are the residents. This stuff cannot be mixed. So if a knuckle boom loader's out picking up,
No, I mean, do it at a different time. You have 1 day or 3 days
well,
a
if
month.
I do it with the knuckle boom loader, I won't need a bag because he can just grab it and put it on the truck. See, that's what I had to do today to try to
Yeah, but
catch
in
up.
the meantime, though, the bag keeps it so it doesn't look like trash. You know, it does, you know, it's in this bag.
You know, that's why we're talking to come up with some ideas, but, you know, we just need a more efficient way to do it instead of putting it all on one man. And, you know, we need to provide a service to the citizens. That's what we're here, that's what we do. And, you know, I just want to do it more efficient in a way to where it looks, where the town looks cleaner instead of strung all up and down the streets. And that's, you know, that's the problem we're facing. And what we also, we got a lot of commercial businesses that needs to be addressed too. I mean, if you go right now down 301 and you go right by Napa store, there's 6 mattresses or 4 mattresses stacked out by the road right now. And those were put out there by a business. Well, my personal opinion, you know, trying to read the ordinance or whatever, a business should be responsible for their own waste.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's mattresses, construction material, cardboard boxes, whatever. I mean, they're in business, you know, they should be allowed, I mean, they should be enforced to get rid of their own trash. And it shouldn't be our responsibility to do that for a business.
But does the ordinance say that they're allowed up to 1,000 pounds per week?
A homeowner's allowed 1,000 pounds. Yes.
Now, that's 1,000 pounds of limbs and leaves.
Limbs and leaves?
That's
Yes. Bulky refuge is what we're talking about. There's no,
No ordinance in
there's nothing with any bite to it, you know.
What is Florence or Sherrill or?
Well, I'm investigating that now. I printed out some ordinances from each town today, and I'm looking over it. You know, they discuss bulky items and white goods, which is dryers and washing machines and things like that, that we're, you know, starting to look to see what we can do, maybe come back with a few more ideas.
You do it in North Myrtle Beach, all you get is a ticket.
Yeah, and they will not pick it up. So we try to look after the citizens. We spoiled them a little bit. I mean, we really have. But, you know, we got to look after ourselves also. And, you know, we want to provide a good service, but we got to do it the correct way. And in the long run, it'll be beneficial to everyone.
And so we're not, you know, limbs and leaves is a different thing.
And people need to be reminded that they
Yeah.
don't need to mix them.
And we have a lot of that, but, you know, you can look at these pictures, I mean, you can see different stuff that's put out
I mean,
there.
you look at this stuff that Glenn's shown you, and I'm asking one man to go stop by the road and stay there for 30 minutes, gather stuff up that people just thrown out there in no kind of orderly fashion. And it's, you know, it's
So how many knuckle booms we got functioning?
well, we got 2 that, you know, we run every day, but we do have a 3rd one that's a spare. And, you
So
know,
we can we take that spare one and let him pick some of that stuff up?
but we kind of talked about that today as an idea, maybe running that truck 1 day a week to pick up, you know, things like that. When we do that, though, I take a man from another crew that has to go do that, so I'm gonna go lacking in another place.
So
And
the
then-
guy that you said run the flatbed, he wouldn't be capable of running that truck unless he'd be trained to run that truck.
Yeah, and you got to have a CDL. So that's the problem, you know, you gotta,
So what can we do to get them cross-trained to where they can get their CDLs? Then they can do two or three different jobs. You
Well,
pay them more.
well, that's,
They have to be interested.
that,
I mean,
that's-
we've got to get them interested. I mean, that's the thing.
Well, it makes everybody.
Oh, it
I
does.
mean, I agree, I mean, I've offered.
We'd love to have
I've
them.
offered, get your CDLs, we pay you more money, and we can't get them to do it.
How about the scheduling? How do you schedule from one side of town to the other side of town? You said you only got one man
Well,
doing it.
right now, what I asked him to do, and I need a better way of doing this also, but I've asked him to follow the garbage truck pretty much. If he's running this side of town today, I want you in that area running your flatbed. I mean, because every household's not gonna have this kind of stuff. You know, it's just certain areas that it's worse than others. But right now, he follows that truck, and when he goes through that area, then he'll go to another. But pretty much he's just riding the town looking for it, is what he's doing now.
And we have some people who will call us and say, hey, I've got a couch that I'm taking out of
And
the
that's
house,
what, that's,
or a refrigerator, what can I do with it?
Yeah.
Well, when you get it out, call us before you take it out, so we'll know and we'll go pick it up. But that's a small percentage of people who will do that. What I think our goal is wanting to be is to use that third nickel beam loader on one given day. We don't know what that day could be, but you know, if we get it out and educate the public, one, if you're gonna put this stuff out, this is the day you need to put it out.
See, that knuckle beam loader can pick up in one day what our one man does in a week.
Now, that's the goal, but now on the other side of that, we don't have any numbers to back up any of this, or how much tonnage we're collecting when we do this, but you know, that's not a part of sanitation fees. That's just
That's a service we offer.
it's a service that we're offering, that is correct.
well,
And do we want to charge for this service?
Well, I think we need to reach out to other municipalities and see how they do. Do they charge?
what do you do with a refrigerator? I mean, don't you have some certain things?
We take it to the landfill.
The only thing that we can't take to the landfill and those kind of things are televisions, computers, if people put them out.
So what do you do with that?
We set them on our site, and then some guy comes in, every quarter, every half year, Bert
Yes,
picks
sir.
that up and takes that from us.
And one other idea I thought of, and which is, you know, it's just an idea. We have 30-yard bins out. When you go out, see, people who live in the city can take goods out to the county waste sites also. I mean, we're allowed to do that. But they have 30-yard bins set up to throw this kind of stuff in. We could possibly do something like that at our, you know, place across the street for city residents to put bulky items in. That's just a thought, you know, I just thinking of things that, you know,
But
the
they can
ideas.
take the time to bring it down.
They can get it out by the road, they ought to be able to get it a little bit further. I'm just, you know, just throwing things out, you know, nothing. But it's an increasing problem with people, like Glenn said, that are renting these houses and staying a month and moving. So they're going over here and staying and moving. The owner's putting all the furniture out by the road because it's got bed bugs and things like that, you know, that nobody wants, that, you know, they're getting rid of. And it's just a continuing problem that we need to address.
Maybe y'all can bring some ideas back once you talk with other municipalities.
You brought up digital sign. We've now had that on Main Street for a month and a half, 2 months. We're getting a few phone calls of people wanting to use and advertise different things. Are you interested in renting space off of that digital sign? And when I say renting space, for people to wish somebody happy birthday or congratulations for a wedding or we're having a chicken bog sale or, you know, things of that nature. Are we interested in doing that? And if so, do you just want to do it and not cost anything, or do you want to charge a slight fee? Because it does take a little bit of time for, you know, for them to get it, and then for Tina to put it in and do whatever needs to be done. The town of Latta, who has a sign just like ours, they do something similar to this. They do rent theirs out for a different cost, depending on what all they want to do on it. It's not there for political purposes, it's just there to...
I think it need to be in charge of them, because if you do it for free, you have a stack of advertisements out the door.
Yeah, we're looking at, it's no more than 4 rows of wording. Could be some pictures, it could be some animation, could be some kind of display effect, but roughly $5 per day. And then if you do anything over that, it's however many days times 5. If you do at least 7 days, you get a discount of $30. And then you get a discount, it would only be $30 for 7 days instead of $35. Then there's a little cost of $2 here and there if you want to do something animated. And the more you add to it, there is some cost there. So just throwing that out, because we have had some folks to reach out to us.
You need that in form of motion?
Well, I don't know that I want it today, it's just something to think about, and we can talk about it at our next meeting, or if this is something y'all comfortable with, and we say, here's what it'll be, and kind of go from there, that's fine too, that's totally up
Are
to
they
you.
allowed a maximum amount of days? I mean, let's say they got an event and they want 7 days.
7 days.
7 days
Yeah.
is the max.
7 days would be max. I mean, all right, if y'all want to make a motion on, we're okay with that
No, that's,
as well. Well, I'd rather not.
why don't you bring it back?
I'd rather, because it really needs to be on the agenda,
Yeah.
to be voted on, so that's just for discussion purposes only. Do you want to see anything change, or do you think what we're proposing is
No, I think that's fine.
fine?
You know, and then let it be from there on, let it be, I mean, if we find out, like Tim says, there's hundreds of people and we can't get them all in, then we'll go up on the fee until we get it down to what we need.
Workable solution? Stormwater, we're still working on stormwater as much as possible. Perch has had some folks there on Elizabeth Lane, 8th Avenue area cleaning that canal. We got run into a problem late last week where our excavator just can't get in some of those areas. So we've decided to rent a mini excavator. And you got it today?
Yes, sir.
To see where we can get in some areas that the large excavator just can't get into. Kind of clean that canal back towards Edgewood, between Elizabeth Lane and Edgewood. It curves back and forth through those wooded areas. And then we've been working on some storm drainage as far as the infrastructure goes. I spoke with last week Mr. Tim Ammons, who owns property down on Roberts Road where his residency is. We have a pipe that goes through his yard that we know is in terrible shape. He has given us permission to do what we need to do on his property. So sometime after July, we have.
That's storm drainage.
That's storm drainage, that is correct.
What did you ever figure out what was holding up the Maple Swamp?
They're walking it, I don't know if you heard anything
Not
from
yet.
DOT.
No, sir.
They brought in their beaver guy, or are supposed to be bringing in their beaver guy to walk it, to find things there, but, you know, we know the one there for Roberts Road, part of that restriction is the pipe is collapsed at the end. So
Where's that drain?
that drains right in behind Jess, and
Right, but what area does it drain?
that drains Johnson Drive, Lee Circle,
Oh, okay.
Reeves
That area
Avenue,
that
that
flooded?
area there.
That area that flooded?
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's other issues, but we know that that's an easy fix.
Where does that pipe come through?
Crosses over as Forest Drive,
Uh-huh.
comes from behind
Slum.
Mr. and Ms. Sloan's house here on Johnson Drive, cuts back across Douglas's daughter's house, goes to Lee Circle, then back over Reeves Avenue to the other side of Lee Circle.
All that flood.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, like I said, we do know there's probably other issues, but that's an easy fix. It's in
And
his
it
side
runs into
yard,
that pond.
runs into that
Runs
pond.
into the pond. If it's restricted where it comes out, then that's, that's a great starting point if we can get in there. And get it opened up, the end of the pipe opened up, it's gotta help, can't hurt.
And then over there off of Virginia Lane area, Dogwood area, the pipe that drains all that falls in there at Ann Court, right there in front of Dr. Parham's area, off of K Street. We went in there last week to clean that wetlands portion out to make the ditch larger, to get it out quicker. What size, that's an 18 or 15?
So 15.
15-inch pipe that drains all that area. So I mean, that's not a large pipe whatsoever. The only thing about that one, we can't go in there and replace that pipe as easily because it's right up against the house. So,
Well, it's not gonna help to have a 40-inch pipe leaving a 15-inch main, so the whole
You gotta
thing
be-
needs to be redone.
It gotta be larger at the end.
Huh?
Gotta be larger at the end than at the beginning.
so we know those areas, and then working on these canals, trying to get those going, and as we get time, we're hitting other areas as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Our goal was to start video, and have we gotten that back part?
Should be through that.
All right, so hopefully tomorrow, if weather permits, we can start videoing some more and seeing what we have cleaned with our Vector truck, see if that's done any good. That'll give us something to have some kind of measurements. And then as we clean, we can continue to clean and video as much as possible.
What'd your eye and I do with the rain today? Any idea, Art?
We did really bottom.
Didn't, the river bed out there is just so dry that you didn't have any problem? Or
Well, a lot of that, like that quick rain was coming from the part where it used to come across the schoolhouse fence. And sealed all that up and everything.
And then lastly, we'll talk about proposed budget. Just to give you an idea, Janet and I are working on the general fund. As of this afternoon, based on what we expect and what we have collected so far in revenue this year, we don't see much of an increase in revenue for the coming year. However, our expenses will be going up to some degree. We have in the proposed budget the 4 new police cars that we bought this year for repayment starting in this budget year. But right now, we're roughly $250,000 more in expenses than revenue. Now, that's just hard numbers. We haven't gotten down to the dotting the i's and crossing the t's. That does not have any kind of proposed increase in salaries for anybody. The only increases that is showing is increase in sanitation rates at this point in time.
And that's without, that's with the increase in
Yeah.
sanitation rate, it's still
Yeah.
250.
Roughly about 250. But we haven't gone through it with a real good fine tooth comb at this point in time. But I will tell you, the goal, and that kind of moved back today when I got through these numbers, but our goal as far as general fund this coming year was to purchase different things, because we need some things. First and foremost, the fire department needs a new cascade system, which is the air system that fills their air tanks for fires. And that's a $39,000 purchase. Public Works, which we all know we are getting a new residential garbage truck, that's $254,000. Do we have a cost estimate yet for a monthly loan?
About 32.
So what's that a year?
32,000.
32,000 a year,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry.
No,
So, you know,
about 2,500,
Approximately that.
2,600, no, wrong last time.
So
We
if-
got 500 members at the,
we'll get to that. But residential garbage truck, we know we've got that, so, that's a cost of us of $32,000 over the next year. There's need in the Public Works, which is Bert's department, for replacing some pickup trucks of estimated cost $68,000. I have down in recreation, we need to replace our sports lighting at the complex. It's 20 years old. When we turn it on, we never know which is going to work and which is not going to work. Police cars still needing additional, police department still needing additional police cars. The chief is requesting 2. Total cost for that's another $75,000 for 2 cars. And one of my goals for the police department is to implement the e-ticket system. And if you're not familiar with the e-ticket system, I hope you haven't gotten a ticket. But that is a printout that the police officer or the highway patrolman would give you when they stop you for a traffic violation. It cuts down on the police officer's time. They're not doing triplicates. But if we did that for all 16 patrol cars that we have, that would cost us an additional $80,000.
80.
Yes, it's about $4,200 a vehicle. So, you see what we're looking for. I don't know that we'll get any and all of that at this point in time. Janet, it's okay. She's over here sweating.
No, I can't make money.
But those are just needs in the general
We
fund.
we talked earlier and trying to get an idea about, so that we're not crisis buying. We're not paying for the 4 cars right away, or we're gonna finance it?
Those are financed. But our
That's
payment will be,
$125,000, did you say?
145.
145, but that's gonna be over 5
5
years.
years, yeah.
So it's not like we've got.
what is that? Do you remember what that is gonna be in the new budget?
31,000.
$31,000? That'll be in the new budget for those 4 cars.
But we need to get to the point where we're replacing those regularly instead of, having to do
Well,
big buys. We need to do little buys along the way.
well, once again, just based on the preliminary numbers, we cannot raise enough revenue to keep up with our expenses. It's just, the revenue's just not there. And you gotta remember, there's our three or four biggest revenue producers. One is property taxes. And we're restricted on what we can do there. In fact, Janet told me this afternoon, we could raise our millage, but we only can raise it up 2 mills, which is a total of about $40,000.
Now, didn't we also, though, did we raise it last year?
No, we haven't raised millage.
And I know there's a limit on how much we can raise it, but can't we capture a year?
You can do up to 5 years, I believe. But then you just take that 5 years, multiply it, in this case, 2, which would be a millage of 10. Then you're looking at, what is it, 18,000 a mill?
180,000.
So you're looking at $180,000. But here's the problem. And I don't know how detailed y'all ever look into your report. If you look at property taxes, we're down. People are, for some reason, not paying property taxes.
How you do that?
Well, didn't you have a service come in and they helped you get the delinquent taxes?
That is business license.
Just business license?
Yeah, that's business
Is there
license.
anything out there that can help you get the delinquent property taxes?
Well, yeah, the county
That
by,
we pay ourselves and we get some money off of that too. You done it with the
Say that
business
again?
with the business license. You had a lot of them out there that wasn't paying. And then you get a third party to come in and help you find out who wasn't paying or who was delinquent,
no, who wasn't paid.
who wasn't paying.
Yeah,
And then we got some money and they got some money
so
also.
that is correct.
You can't do that same way with the property tax.
I don't know if
I mean, I know
there's,
everything goes to
yeah.
sale, you do the 3, 5,
Yeah.
15 and all that.
yeah, I don't know that you
You don't
can.
know who's not
And the
paying.
county, well, the county collects our taxes and then they, give our money, what they collect on our behalf.
Do you
but no,
recall what the company that done the business license, how much money they made us?
so far, probably, what do you figure, 50,000? Data max, it's on the line item there.
We should be able to get, if you don't pay your property taxes, we've got.
But see what happens if you don't pay your
water
property.
and-
Yeah.
Huh?
If you don't pay your property taxes, there's nothing that anybody can do until the next year. If you're still delinquent, the county puts it up for sale. But
Do we get paid if they back taxes on that?
yes, but right now we're about 5% off of what we should have collected so far. We budgeted $880,000.
$40,000.
And we got $112,000 to collect in a month's time. Don't know that we'll collect that.
Now, we've done collected all of them collected there.
We're done.
That's it.
Yeah.
Then you look at your delinquent. We're low in delinquent too.
Yeah, we've only collected 64% of delinquent tax. So I mean, this is the big one. But then again, you're looking at 800, less than $1 million in taxes. And then if you look at the general fund, I can tell you just the police department itself is well over $1 million.
Well, now let me tell you,
That's
you add these two
5.7
numbers
is what
together.
I saw.
You add these two together. We'll have $1 million in taxes, but it won't be what we normally run.
So, the point being is, we're restricted on collecting revenue. Or how we
What is
collect.
the grant revenue, the RIA grant revenue?
RIA,
Yeah,
Yeah, I took that out.
what is that?
that in, what was that in, water and sewer? Or was that in, had to be
Yeah,
for
yeah,
RIA?
water and sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the revenue,
But that's on water and sewer.
Right.
We have to show it coming in. and
That's
then
the
we can
grant
take
that
it
we
on.
put, where we put pipe in by vocational school, that project.
Mhm.
That's where they paid us, where we got a grant. So they give us money
Okay.
to pay the contract.
So didn't we have another process, a third stage or something, party that have we finished that?
That's what that was.
That's what it is,
Yeah,
so we're done.
That's what that was. But from the general fund standpoint, it's tough sometimes meeting our demand.
Well, you always gonna have capital. You
Yeah.
can't change that.
Yeah.
Every year you're gonna have expenses on capital.
And then just trying to find the funds to take care of it. But you know, we're scheduled to meet this coming Monday, the 17th, to talk nothing but budget. And hopefully come Thursday, we'll have some numbers that are closer, and we can kind of sit down on Monday the 17th to hash out some things. But on the general fund side, you know, one of the things that we can increase, and we have been increasing for several years now, is the garbage, which in this new budget right now, in first reading for this ordinance for sanitation, is for a 5% increase, which that will cost the city residents an additional $1.25 per month for their roll card. I do know that the county is increasing solid waste fees this coming year as well. In the past, they haven't been, but they are increasing. I don't know what that number is, so that may be soaked up in that increase that they're going to give us. And then from the water and sewer standpoint, which I don't have a lot of information for that at this point in time, but it seems to be an easier one to deal with. But the water and sewer increase for the coming year is projected right now at 3%, which someone that averages 5,000 gallons a month, that's an additional $1.34 on their bill. So if you take that $1.34 for water and sewer, and then the additional $1.25 for sanitation, because that all comes on their bill, that is an addition of $2.59.
So have you figured it up though, Glenn? How much it's gonna be before anybody drinks a cup of water? How much?
Yeah, that would be 14 cents.
What's the $40 or something? It's gotta be
Well,
something.
no, that's before just to have it.
Right.
Just to have it. That is, the base rate is what, Janet, you remember? Hold on, I'll tell you. Boom, 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 boom.
Thought it was like 37.50.
Somewhere
Well,
on there.
no, well, that's just,
You got your sewers falling apart.
wait a second, I'll tell you. I've got it right here. Without turning your water on for that month, you're gonna pay in the city, in the proposed budget, $4.94 plus $16.87 for sewer. So that's $21, give or take.
That's what it is, $21 for.
Just to have our.
Just to have water and to have access to the garbage.
Yep.
No garbage.
No,
Uh-uh.
that's water and sewer.
I want it all. I want it
Well,
all.
now you just add another $25 for garbage.
So now we're saying $46.
Just, no, yeah. Just for that. Just not even using any water, just being on our system. That's what the cost is. That is correct. That is correct. But like I said, we will meet again on the 17th at 7 o'clock, if you folks don't mind, which is Monday week, to talk more about
That's next month.
that's coming Monday. That is a week from tonight. And then, you know, we did put in for the agenda approval to amend the agenda, the ordinance 1903 and 1904, which is actually first reading for water and sewer increase and sanitation increase. And that's just to get the ball rolling, so we're not at the last minute trying to get first reading and second reading done. These numbers is just something to go from, doesn't mean we have to stay with them and go up or down or go away with. prior to the second reading.
Are you gonna talk about the water sewage rate analysis?
Well, that was pretty much, leave it up to you guys if you want to discuss it, but it's pretty much self-explanatory. There was two parts to it, and we've been doing this now for 5 years on the water sewer analysis.
Well, we were mandated to do this for our fee schedule for Purdue, and now we don't have to do this. But just some things that I looked at. We right now cash in, cash out. It looks like we made $800,000. Well, then you put in depreciation on an old system, and it was in the range of $1 million, $1.2 million, and it comes out that we lost after depreciation about $350,000. And I know that we can't make up that right away. We went from 2008 to 2015 without a rate increase, and also during that period of time, we saw a drop-off in usage, and we identified that problem as we were getting some high concentration stuff. Our sludge cost didn't go down, but our usage cost did, so obviously we were running into a problem here. So we kind of put ourselves behind an 8 ball between 08 and 15. Since 15, we've begun to increase our rates, and as I look at it, our rate, even now, when you look at it and compare it with other municipalities, Darlington being pretty close to our size, I mean, we're a fraction of what Darlington is. I think they're in the you share that somewhere, where we are relative to Darlington. But if you, as a goal, or and I'm not saying we have to do this, but as a goal, let's try to cut our loss, the amount of loss we have a year. If we lost $350,000 after depreciation last year, let's try to gain back maybe half of that at 175, in that range. And if we did that, it would be a rate increase of about 4.5%. That would, in what we would do with that, basically we would, CPI I think is about 2.5–3%. So we would have some margin there that we would be putting away. That would allow us to accumulate about $4 million in the next 5 years. Now, that's cash money. We're going to have depreciation over that period of time that we're going to obviously have to replace that equipment. But the $4 million is a foothold into what we're going to end up having to pay when we expand our sewage treatment plant, which is going to be needed, especially if the growth is coming to Dillon like we anticipate. It doesn't make real good sense to create sewage in Little Rock and spray it in Lakeview. And Hardy and Glenn and I and many of the councilmen have been talking about trying to develop a spray field on the west side of I-95 that could serve Purdue and then also serve any industry over there. We've got about $1.5 million under I-95 now. We're in our capability on the other side of I-95 with our present system of about 1 million gallons a day.
Probably.
Yeah. So we can handle the growth. We can't handle a wet industry, but we can handle the growth over there for right now. But that's going to be where Dillon will probably grow, both probably from an industrial standpoint as well as from a residential standpoint. So trying to be ready over there is important, and trying to get ready for that, we need to fund depreciation and accumulate a little bit more money in that in those accounts. But that, you know, I know this was in our packet today, and if you haven't had a chance to read it, it's not good reading, but it is reading, and it's something that you ought to be aware of. But we've got some real challenges with both water and sewage and general fund, and we're not a rich population here, and we don't want to have a devastating impact on people, but we also want to stay viable, and we want to deliver the services at the quality level that we're delivering them now. So read over your budgets and look at those things.
If I can just add something, Wallace. If I'm not mistaken, though, we raised these rates last year.
We did.
Okay, and we also put a $4 stormwater fee on the residentials. Okay. The problem I have is the average income is $24,000 a year for a family of four. Now I understand your number, Dr. Wallace, but people that's on these fixed incomes have a hard time paying the water bill, paying the bills in general. And if you just gave them a $9 increase last year, I understand the $2 or whatever it was, but the water fluctuates because your usage can, you know, understand? I mean, it's not going to affect me that much, but I look at the older crowd who's only set income, and it affects them. I understand the city's got, you know, fund for depreciation, but I have to also take in consideration all the people out here who it's hard on them. So, you know, I just wanted to make my comment.
Johnny, at the same time, you want to, you know, you've got ideas, and I want to give the policemen all we can. Where are you going to get that money?
Well, and we're not going to talk about the budget tonight because I don't want to go that far into
Exactly
it.
what we're talking.
Well, we just talking about the water, sewer, you know, increasing the rates there. I don't want to talk about the police officers. You know, I want to talk about that in the budget workshop. And what I'd like to do is, since you mentioned that, is why can't we have all the department heads come to the workshop? And then we can have an all discussion with them. We can find out what you're talking about with the city manager and how we determine what you need and what you don't need. And therefore, I understand the capital expenses we're going to have every year. But I just want to go back to the water and sewer. On a fixed income, you're telling me we're going to end up raising these rates $12 over 2 years. Next year it's going to be the same thing. And then the following year it's going to be the same thing. Now, that's where I draw my line, is that can we afford to put this burden on the people that's got a set income? And I don't know how many there is out there. Now, also I wanted to ask you too was, how many residential customers does the city of Dillon have?
About 3,700.
3,700. You said it generated 11,000 and some odd dollars.
Talking about stormwater?
Stormwater, yeah. How come the business owners don't have the stormwater?
They do.
They do? Well, it would be more money than that.
Theirs is $5 a month.
Well, it seems like it would generate more money than that.
Well, that's,
Outside.
yeah, outside users, it's just anybody in the city.
Well, I'm talking about, you got, I don't know how many.
Oh, I understand, but I mean, it's put on every bill, either a resident or commercial water bill. You know, either they're $4 or $5, and that's what we collect on an average, 11,500 a month.
The math don't add up to me.
Yeah.
But that's for another day. But I just wanted to make a comment. I understand what you say, Dr. Wallace, and I just wanted to let you, Glenn, and everybody's here, how I feel about the increase in the water.
Well, none of us want to increase.
I understand that.
I mean,
But we're not taking consideration the people out there who's on the fixed
I
income.
understand.
And it's
So
all-
we all live in the city right here, and including myself, you know, we have to deal with it as well. But, you know, there are costs that we have to incur, and once again, we'll talk about garbage again. Without garbage, if we didn't have garbage, we'd be in trouble. You know, garbage, which everybody in the city doesn't pay property taxes directly. They may do it indirectly through their rent and things of that nature. But garbage, everybody pays that. But when you're spending $254,000 on a garbage truck, you've got to.
We're going to have that. I mean,
Yeah,
you're going to have
that's
the
what I'm
capital
saying.
expenses every year. It's going to be
Because
something.
if we look, I think it was 3 years ago, we spent $234,000 on a commercial truck. So, I mean, so in the last, yeah.
Talk about your storm drainage.
Yes. You know, in the last 4 years, we've spent $500,000 in 2 garbage trucks. So,
But let me go back to while we're talking about the budget here. And I want to see if I'm reading this right. I could be reading it wrong. But we're gonna have over 100, let me find, hold on. The water and sewer here.
Water and sewer?
Yeah. We're gonna have a surplus in that.
Very well could. Very well could.
No, you're gonna have a surplus.
But at the end of the day, when you got depreciation in it, we lose
I understand all
money.
that.
We lose money.
But you're talking about 14 months. You had 11 months on you're waiting on the readings to come back with the audit report or whatever. So it's just hard for me, you know.
But oh, you talk about what I said in the letter?
Right.
About those numbers are actually almost 2 years old from the audit, well, a year old when you look at it, because that audit report was given in January, which was numbers that were ending of June of the previous year. So I mean, that's kind of hard, you know,
Yeah.
type deal.
Okay.
Last few things, just to let you know what else is going on. You know, we know that one of our city judges is retiring, Judge Rogers. Advertisement was in the paper this week or last week to accept resumes for the city judge position, which is due no later than June 14th, which is this Friday. And then filing for Mr. Brady's seat, District 5, opens up on Friday at noon, closes on Monday, June 24th at noon. The election is scheduled for August 27th. And as of Friday, June the 7th, following up with Councilman Eller's question last time we met, how many active members we had at the Wellness Center? Roughly 500.
500 today.
And that varies on what categories you have. You have several different categories: family of 4, family of 3, couples, parent, child, senior couples, individuals, and corporate membership. And then you have different times of payment. You have some that pay annual, every 9 months, every 6 months, every 3 months, and or individually monthly. So it varies each month of what those. That's all I have at this time.
All right. Janet, finance? Kind of grim.
General fund, our total cash for general fund cash and depreciation account is $1,298,931. Our stormwater account's $126,954. And then the revenues versus 2018, 2019, if you take out your loan proceeds of $235,000 in 2018 and the $145,000 proceeds in 2019, we're $22,098 less in revenues in 2019 versus 2018, but we still have some franchise fees and stuff coming in.
Which we got, how much you get from,
$485,000 from Duke.
is that reflected in this?
No,
Okay.
that'd be in the June report.
Let me ask you something, Janet. Well, let me ask Harlan too. In our budget, the pumps and equipment rental, you had nothing budgeted last year in that thing. We've spent $122,000. All right. Will we be better off to buy our own bypass pumps?
We do have one that we bought.
Do we need to get another?
It's how bad a year I had.
How much are the bypass?
The last one I bought was $37,000 with no pipes.
Okay.
Now, some of those we bought, we rented during the
I
hurricane.
understand that.
And
Will FEMA pay us some money back for it?
That was turned in.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Janet.
The expenses in general fund, if you take out your $235,000 for the Vector truck and the $145,000 for the police vehicles, that gives you $5,849,233 more in expenses that's what your expenses are. It gives you $321,590 more in expenses in 2019 than 2018. You've got, and that includes, we did a demolition for $40,000 that wasn't budgeted. Stormwater vehicle was $62,443. Of course, your retirement and your insurance went up. And of course, you got equipment repairs, vehicle repairs, and things like that.
How much of that is was not budgeted. I mean, our budget was higher for this year than it was last year, correct?
What was not budgeted in?
Right, I mean, we budgeted to have more expenses, correct? From 18 to 19.
There wasn't much of a difference.
Okay.
Wasn't much of a difference.
Okay.
Now, in the water and sewer, our total restricted accounts are up to $1,815,269. Our depreciation account and our deposit account, our restricted accounts in water and sewer is $1,757,414, bringing all accounts to a total of $3,572,683. When you take out your proceeds of $150,000, that was insurance proceeds, and of course your RIA grant was $464,386. Your FEMA grant of $49,000, that would leave you with $3,611,264 in revenues. Plus you got to take out in 2018 $50,000. You take that out, then the difference is $6,243 more revenues in 2018 than in 2019. But we have not received our tower rent, but we're waiting on that. That's about $20,000.
And we received that by this time last year.
We had, but we hadn't received it this year.
Do you know what Purdue pays us on a monthly basis for water and sewer?
For sewer, they pay $390 something per thousand.
$397 per thousand?
I think that's what it is.
So $4 a thousand and a $2 million.
That's
it.
Okay, the expenses on the water side, the difference is $247,033 more in expenses in 2019 than 2018. That's due, you got your pump rental of $106,783 more in 2019 than 18. And equipment repairs, $102,505 more in 2019, which gives, that's $209,288 really more in those than we had in 18. You got your golf course. Your golf course, your revenues for 2019 is $209,551. In 18 was $206,114, a difference of $3,417 more in 19 than 18. Our expenses, we've got, the difference is $4,411 more in 2019 than 18. And that's, you know, we had to buy a pump, fix a pump out there, so that's the difference there. Hospitality fund, we collected $25,132 more in revenues in 2019. So our revenues was $550,460 in 19, $525,328 in 18. Okay.
So much better when you do it. Citizens report, anybody like to speak? Unfinished business, none. New business, resolution number 03-19, adopting a personnel handbook.
Dr. Wallace, I'd ask that we table that. I hadn't really had a good opportunity to look at it. I want to come back and mention some things that we might make a deviation to. But I'm only like a quarter of a way through it. Could we possibly table that to the next meeting? I'll make a motion to table if I can get a second.
All those in favor?
Thank you.
Is there a time limit on that, or is there any pressure?
No, just
Okay.
do it every 2 years. So.
All right. Resolution number 04-19, commitment to a safe workplace. What's that about?
That's, you want to explain that?
That's safety. Through the municipal association, we have to do this every time we have an election. When new members coming on, we have to bring it out, and then we have to give it to all.
Just so that you know that we have a commitment to safe workplace.
Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ordinance 19-02, annexation of Robbie and Mason Lane property at 1627 Highway 401 North, Dillon, South Carolina.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Now, that's Lane's Bacon House.
Yeah. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 19-03, sanitation rates. Again, we're not approving any rates. This is kind of first reading, is that my understanding?
That is correct, and attached is the proposed new rates with the 5% increase on the second page.
Okay.
But the question is, will we make the final passage of the budget in the workshop, or is that what?
So we'll do that in the next.
That has to be,
So we're gonna be a little late in passing the budget?
yeah, that'll be in either June or 1st of July.
Might have to have another meeting in June. The last Monday of the month, I've got.
Well, we can talk about that Monday night.
I'll make
Okay.
a motion.
I second.
All those in favor? And then 19-04, water sewer rates, increase or proposed.
I'll make a motion for it.
Second.
All those in favor? All right. Councilman,
Got several things I'd like to, like I said, with the workshop, we can get them, the department heads to come to the workshop.
that's a good idea.
Want to know if we can start going Facebook Live with our meetings. Do it at our events uptown here, we do it during Bridget's, meetings, which she has uptown here, the events.
Do you know how to do that, Tim?
Think we can start doing it?
Let's try.
Okay. Also, I missed it.
Can't talk back then.
No. I missed it the last meeting, but I want to recognize, especially the nurses in our hospital. I don't know about Bennettsville. Bennettsville lost their hospital years ago. I don't know if they got a hospital or not. But I tell you what, without our hospital, we don't have a community. And I want to really thank the nurses, the paramedic nurses. I know two of them personally, Beth King and Sherry Ball. And that's a heck of an honor. So I wanted to let them know that I was thinking about them, and I appreciate what they do for us in our community. Police officers, missed y'all too. Thank y'all for what y'all do for us. The veterans, Memorial Day service, didn't get to mention that. I went to the Memorial Day service, and it was awesome. I want to thank these veterans who serve our country and gives an opportunity to do that here. I want to thank Jackie Majah. Went to the Scripps National Spelling Bee, represented the city of Dillon in Dillon County in Washington, D.C. Dr. Majali is a general surgeon at the hospital. It's his son. Awesome. It's an awesome accomplishment. I want to also talk about the Uptown, the upfit grants. I don't know if it's going to be talked about in the budget workshop. You know, Glenn, I'm really upset. I don't know what we can do about it, but Hudgens.
Yeah, that one, I don't think that's going any further than where we at.
But he got our $15,000. I'm upset about it. I think we need to find a better way.
There's something in it, though, that if he doesn't complete the project, he has to repay.
No, there was nothing in that at that time. Nothing at all. Which I think we changed, I think we changed it because we were having that issue.
Yeah.
But I think we need to put, I know the other two that got the upfit grants, they've done what they need to do that I'm hearing. But we've got to find a way that if they don't complete their project, we get our money back. I don't know.
Well, and then you got, I don't know.
Or upon completion, you get
Well,
that, yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, that all depends on, and that one was a different one. I mean, that was just totally, and I know the other one, that Jonathan McLeod on, he has started work back on his, but I think he got hurt here not too long ago, so I'm not sure if he's doing anything, but we'll use, for an example, Kentire House. He did what he said he was gonna do, and he's been reimbursed, but it's still a vacant building.
Right.
You know, are we getting anything out of that? I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe because now it's not leaking and it's not deteriorating anymore. I mean, I guess you can look at that.
Won't be a shell.
Yeah, I mean, so I think there's a lot of things that we can massage. I'm just not sure how. Is it, are we gonna allow vacant buildings? And if so, you've got to have that building operational, somebody in it within a time period.
But the council agent is our building, it's the city's building,
Yeah.
and it's attached to our building. So my thing is, if Mr. Hudgens is not gonna do what he's supposed to do to the building, can we demolish the side of the building? It wouldn't take nothing, there's nothing, you can look up and you can see the sky. There's no asbestos, there's
Well,
nothing.
is it condemned now, Benny?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I think we need to look on that avenue.
And I've been told, I don't know this because I haven't talked to him, that he's willing to sell the property. Now, what he wants for it, I don't know. I know at one time the Presbyterian Church was interested in it. To give them,
I'm really interested in it now.
to give them additional parking. But I'm not sure if he's putting it up for sale or not. I don't foresee it being used.
Right.
Not at all.
As far as the parking lines, are we gonna get that where they repaved? They're gonna put parking lines
Yeah,
in
just
this?
give that pavement time to cure so it doesn't soak it up. Because then the state's coming back with their contract to redo the center lines. Either, what's it called, Bert, reflective or
Thermoplastic.
thermoplastic? You know, it kind of makes it rigid or whatever. So,
Economic development director.
he was tied up, he said he couldn't come here, he tried to be in July. Now, that's all I can do there.
So you can, thank you, Dr. Wallace.
I'm good.
Get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
And just remember, we meet next Monday at 7:00. You will not be here, right? What about